welcome to Embodied Alchemy with me, Rebecca Wilson, an embodied experiential space for you to drop deep into the wealth of wisdom within your being and activate a fuller, richer you. I am an embodied business coach, embodiment queen, sacred business midwife, and alchemist. I will help you birth your visions and sacred business into the world from an easeful, embodied, and rooted space within. So you can be who you are here to be, create what you are here to create, and activate the wealth of energy that is you. I will activate you into self-leadership, self-mastery to create your legacy on earth. Welcome on the journey, my love. Welcome, loves. It is so beautiful to be here with you, as always, sharing the awakenings and stirrings that are arriving in my world. Today, I really wanted to dive in and explore with you this piece that I have been bringing into my work, my world, my business, and supporting all the women in my world with too. It's a juicy one. And the teaching of this really came to me through my own journey of integration. The integration of what I may label as masculine or feminine, or action and inaction, or spirit and strategy and structure. However we label those polarities or those opposites, this wisdom arrived for me through the welcoming of the integration of those two poles, those two polarities, those two opposites, into wholeness and into union. It has been a very deep and potent journey for me, this inner marriage, this inner union of these two aspects of myself that have quite often been at war with each other or in conflict, contractions and internalized judgments and stories placed upon these two ways of being, or these two opposite ways of being that are both rooted in the center of wholeness. And I begin to explore this as I stepped deeper into my business awakening and opening my offerings in guiding women and supporting women in their businesses. And the piece that came, and this is what I like to call this musing and this teaching, is embodied energetics and aligned action. So for myself, the embodied energetics piece is the feminine, and the aligned action is the masculine. You may have a different way of experiencing, feeling, sensing, knowing what I am sharing here in words, and I absolutely honor and celebrate that. We all have our own ways. The embodied energetics may be elemental and watery, and the aligned action may be fiery, and whatever these two expressions mean for you, however they land in your body, in your awareness, I really want to welcome that in as what is true. Because when we work with what is alive and true for us inside, we're better able to land in an understanding of a sharing, a teaching, and allow it to work for us. So for me, the embodied energetics and aligned action was this inner dance of masculine and feminine energies. To bring this practice, this teaching into my business, into my creations, into my life and my world has been pivotal, life-changing, business-altering. I'm very familiar with both of these energetics, but in and from a space of separation. I would either be completely in my embodied energy, my embodied energetics, my feminine, or I would bounce completely over into aligned action, go, 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 decide now, get it done, kind of masculine energy. Both of these poles inside of me were and have been cultivated for some time and were very strong. I didn't feel a sense of either of them not having space at the table, but they would just take space at the table at separate times as individuals, and from that place of separation, they had not yet merged and married into their own sacred union inside of me. So I began to explore, well, if this exists within, how is it existing in my external reality? And of course, it was everywhere in my connection to the world, other people, within my relationships. But today I really want to focus on how it was showing up in my business. Because as I have shared many times and will speak into over and over again, what lives in the body lives in the business. What is manifest in our internal world through belief, thought, identity, past historical experience, the lens that we see, feel, experience life and the world through, exists within us. So ultimately will exist within our beliefs. And from that, what exists within our beliefs will exist in our external experiences. So within our business, it will exist in our actions and inactions, our felt energetics and emotions around business, growth, wealth, abundance, creation, visibility, messaging, why, broader reach, bigger audience, greater community, and so on. So this inner sacred union for me was so huge. It felt like, wow, I've really found like a missing piece of the puzzle. And I wanted to take time to honor the bringing together of these two parts of myself that had very much felt like they needed to operate alone, separate. Only one or the other could be at play at one time. So for me, that looked like dancing in this realm of like deeply attuned to the energetics of my business and my community and my world and all of my creations, and really existing in one pole of it. I can sense this and I can feel that. I really felt like that would be a good idea. I'm going to sit with that a little bit longer, allow me to let it unfold. My sense and my felt awareness and my intuition has always been very strong. And it has always been very strong within my business and my creations too. But sometimes I was so in the energetics and felt experience of that I wasn't aligning into action from that feeling. And then we flip reverse. There would be times within my business where I would align and take action into something that I hadn't allowed myself the space and time to feel into, to arrive into in my body. Maybe I was quick off the mark or in a rush or just felt like a decision needed to be made now. Maybe also at times there was external pressures upon me, deadlines, timelines, other people saying we need to do this, this, this. And I've just gone like, right, action, let's go. And I haven't allowed that spaciousness around, well, how does that feel? So here arrived this piece of inner union, a sacred union in my business, which really was about the inner marriage and the inner merging within myself. To bring the two together is a pivotal, and it is a game changer because we get to operate from the gifts of all parts and aspects of ourselves. We don't need to take anything off the table. We don't need to leave any part of ourselves underexpressed, not expressed, not welcome. We get to bring it all into the dance. And ultimately business is life. Life is a dance because we're in this forever unfolding of creation. So if we can see our business as a spiritual and sacred act and a journey of life unfolding and creation and relationship and all of these things, then why would we not bring all parts of ourselves to the table? Why would we hide an aspect or deny an aspect? Because there's value, there's gift, there's opportunity, there's greater insight in bringing all the parts in. And there's this inner conversation that can happen because for me, I know that my inner masculine and feminine are constantly in conversation because they are and forever will be in relationship with each other. And allowing both of those parts of myself, those two polarities, to be in that dance, to be in that conversation, shifted my inner world, my outer world, and my business world in a quantum way. To be able to give space for the embodied energetics. So this usually, if I can paint a picture for you now, this usually arrives for me in a felt sense. I land into a feeling of something that wants to be created through me or expressed through my business. An example may be recently we have launched our Telegram community. So if you're not part of that, the way to get in that space is to join our mail list. So it's by invitation only. So this idea was with me for some time, and it was a feeling, a sensing, a knowing, a desire that was rising in me to create an intimate space and an intimate community away from the socials where, it can be loud and noisy and algorithms and all of those things can affect direct connection with each other. And this idea, this piece of my intuition and my soul was speaking this to me. We were in this conversation of, yeah, that's a great idea. I'm just going to hold it a little bit longer. Not because it wasn't good or it wasn't great or it wasn't going to happen, but it needed time. It needed time before I actioned it. And in that time, I got to really allow myself to feel into the energetics of this offering. What does it get to be? What does it not get to be? What does it want to be? What do I want it to be? What am I available for in this space and what am I not available for? How do I want to welcome women into this container? Who is it for? What makes it special and unique? All of these pieces arrived with me as I was in the embodied realm, the embodied energetic realm of this birthing of the Telegram community. And when all of that had landed for me into a more solid place within of knowing that I have gathered enough information, enough felt experience, enough emotion, enough of the energetics of this piece, this offering we were bringing forward, I could then move into the aligned action. And actually, the aligned action was so clean and so smooth and so rapid because I'd allowed myself that time and space to feel, to allow, to nurture, to grow the creation. Then, when I arrived into aligned action, it was about me stepping truly into, okay, so this seed has been given to me. It's been planted. I've nurtured it. I've nourished it. I've watered it. I've grown it. I've felt all of the different expressions of it and how it wants to come through. And now I act upon that in the most aligned, integral, and clear way possible. And like I said, that became so easy to do because I had given myself the space and time around it to feel, explore, embody, dance with it, communicate with this container in meditation, in movement, on my daily walks. It was with me so deeply. And then when I stepped into the aligned action, it was a journey of smooth and easeful birth. I knew everything that needed to happen, what needed to take place. I was able to align into the actions, share with my team the relevant pieces to be created, how we were going to launch, what we were going to launch, how it was going to look. Everything just like slot, completely aligned, action and go. And the container, the community was able to be launched, birthed into the world for you all to arrive into. When that original idea or inspiration came for this particular offering that I'm speaking into, this Telegram container that we have now as part of our community, it could have been so easy to just move straight into the aligned action. I've got this idea, let's do it. And just go into it and not allow myself the space and time to feel, to understand it, to grow it, to nurture it inside of myself. So when we did step into that space, it was so clean and clear. Like I said, it was just like, done. But another piece here is allowing ourselves, willing ourselves to actually step into that aligned action from the embodied energetics piece. So depending how we connect with these parts of ourselves, polarities, masculine, feminine, felt experience and action-based movement, motion, decision-making, we can sometimes get stuck in one of the polarities. We're either all action and we don't feel into the experience, the journey of birthing or the launch within the business, or we stay all in the feeling, felt, and energetics, embodied realm. And we don't step into that birthing, launching, arriving, aligning action piece. But when we marry and merge the two, the journey is a journey. And it's one of deep beauty because in that space of allowing ourselves to feel, the creation and the seed has time to grow in ways that it wouldn't if we are moving at the speed of light or completely action, go. And simultaneously, when we have grounded and rooted that energy of aligning our actions in ourselves, in our business, our integrity, stepping forward, moving with the idea, the pulse of energy, the creation that's come to us, we get to bring the embodied energetics into our business, our creations, and then our services, and then ultimately into the world. And this piece of marrying the two has been so profound on so many levels for the women that are journeying with me at this time. Because many women who have stepped into my world have a suitcase full of ideas, of inspirations, of visions. They've been meditating, dancing, moving, exploring, praying, bringing in all of the visions. They have a wealth, a library of ideas for their business, for services, for containers, for offerings, but they never get shared with the world because they don't have the piece of stepping into aligned action. And then there are some women who step into my world and they are so action orientated, and they have shared with me that because of this journey of like quick, rapid, needs to be done now, they often find that they create something and put it out there in the world, and then they're not actually truly aligned with it. They haven't given it time to germinate, to seed, to bloom, to grow, to create and cultivate a relationship with the thing that they're offering. This can often be rooted in a nervous system response or a trauma response of urgency and everything needing to be done now, and not allowing ourselves to feel the full spectrum of emotion, sensation that comes with such a profound journey, like creating and building a course or a container or a retreat or a service or a product, and sharing it with your community and your world. So as we dance between these two and bring them closer together, it serves not only our inner world and the inner union inside of ourselves, but it serves the energy of your business and your creations. Because feminine leadership isn't about the feminine only. And this is why, for me, it's a really interesting dance within the language that's around leadership at the moment, and rather a transition for myself into embodied leadership. Because business requires both. It requires the energetics of the feminine and the masculine. It requires embodied energetics, and it requires aligned action. It requires spirit, source, connection, spirituality, feeling, sensing, emotion, and it requires structure and strategy and commitments and discipline. And when we pull out the fight or the disconnect between the two and bring them both to the table, we inside of ourselves are a fuller, richer, rounder human being, embodied in wholeness. And then from that place, when that energetic, when that has landed in our body, as we know, we create through our world, our services, our businesses. From that place, what lives in the body lives in the business. So then we can bring forward from that space inside of ourselves, that unified, aligned, whole part, these aspects that serve the business, the creations, the containers, your team, your community, the expansion, the growth that you are looking for or desiring to have in a more rounded, whole way. I am so excited to teach even more about this, and as ever, bring it into the body, because that is my jam. And we will be exploring that in our upcoming masterclass, which is in November the 9th, and it will be on embodied energetics and aligned action. So in that masterclass, I'll be sharing some more of this powerful teaching. And along with that, there'll be space and time for coaching, questions, shares, interaction. And then we will dive into how that all currently lives in the body and merge the two in connection, in union, to arrive into this embodied leadership through the harmony and the connection of the marriage, the merge, the inner union of these two aspects or polarities of yourself into wholeness. So I welcome you to join us if this is speaking to you. As part of the masterclass, you will also receive access to a mini course portal, which will house the recording of the masterclass along with other practices, some journal activations and prompts, and some meditations to guide you deeper and deeper and deeper into your own embodied alchemy and embodied awakening. All the details are in the show notes, and I really look forward to sharing this journey with you. Thank you for joining me on this journey today. If you loved this musing and sharing, I would love for you to share this episode far and wide. You can arrive into all of my offerings at rebecca-wilson.com. Links to dive deeper with me are in the episode notes. Remember, my love, you are here to be the fullest, most potent, powerful, embodied version of you. I am here to guide you into that. Hey love, I'm dropping in here to welcome you to join us in our online community membership, The Village. I created this space for women to gather, to return to themselves, to deepen the connection and the relationship with self, whilst held in a community of like-minded women walking the journey and the path of their own awakening.